tune.
Like this?
Yeah.
Do you guys hear me?
Louder.
Yes, no?
Louder.
I'm new to this.
Own that megaphone.
I'm gonna do it. Are we paying attention now?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So hey, my name is Kim. About 3 years ago, my husband and I packed up our 2 kids, and I had a 6-month-old in utero. Put everything we owned into a U-Haul, and we had nothing. We had no job. We had no family. We had no friends. We had no OB, no hospital to deliver in. But we did have a rental property sight unseen. That's all we had. We had a wing and a prayer because we knew we had to get out of New York.
Oh.
So, you see, I'm sorry, I took notes. About 10 years ago, we started our fight with freedom back in New York, and it started with individual liberties, civil liberties, and then it went to gun rights. And after that, we spent some time in medical freedom. Unfortunately, we were about 10 years too late. I'm speaking here today because I am hearing the same rhetoric in East Tennessee that we were hearing 10 years ago in New York. The difference is, I truly believe that we are right on time to defeat this communist agenda that is being pushed in Tennessee. Being an American, I never thought we could lose our constitutional rights, no matter what state we lived in. These are God-given rights that are upheld through the supreme law of the land. Well, I learned this wasn't true. In the words of Rahm Emanuel in 2008, never let a serious crisis go to waste. That is what we saw happening in New York, and that is exactly what is going on here today in Tennessee. I am hearing the voices of my fellow Tennesseans saying things like, it's only for a short time. Once things go back to normal, they will never take our guns. We will never lose our Second Amendment rights. And vaccines will never become mandatory. Well, as if the heinous crime of 9/11 wasn't horrible enough, New York State passed the Patriot Act, which totally annihilated our Fourth Amendment rights, which 19 years later, they still never returned. 10 years later, the crisis of Sandy Hook took place. And even though this tragedy happened in Connecticut, New York State took full advantage, passing the SAFE Act, the most unconstitutional act on American soil, taking our Second Amendment rights in a new direction. And if you have never heard of the Patriot Act or the SAFE Act, I urge you, I implore you, please, go research it tonight. Because they will take your guns, and here's how they will do it. They will decide which guns you can use. They will decide how many bullets you are allowed to have in that gun. And if you decide to carry a magazine with more bullets than our emperor decides we are allowed to have, you will go to federal jail for 10 years. Next, they will tell you how to store your guns and where to store them. And if you don't believe me, call up any New Yorker that you know and ask them if they have a concealed carry permit. And if you moved there today, would you be able to get one? It would be impossible.
Wow.
They actually even removed all religious and medical exemptions. They were able to push this through because, again, in times of a crisis. Can you believe it? In Brooklyn, New York, they had less than 50 cases of the measles. 50 in a population of almost 3 million. Not one death. But they had every right to take away your medical and religious freedoms and force vaccines on the children. We already know that COVID vaccine bills have been written in the state of Tennessee. We must be vigilant in letting our representatives know that we are not guinea pigs. We are not afraid of a virus with a 99% survival rate, and we do not want nor need their vaccine.
Woo! Yeah.
So let's let tomorrow night's Board of Health meeting be the shot heard round Tennessee. Let us be the revolutionaries who are going to hold our elected officials responsible. Let our revolutionary act begin with each one of you setting up meetings with every single person you vote for. Let's be the checks and balances. Let's bring back the meaning of the people, for the people, by the people. My suggestion to everyone is to be a dissident. Act against those who desire authoritarian rule over us. Set the precedent that we the people are in charge of our own lives. We must keep these checks and balances. It is our American duty to hold those elected accountable on every matter that affects the lives of those who come after us. Tomorrow night, we have an opportunity to create change. And I urge every single person here to show up to that meeting, to call tomorrow morning to speak, so that you can look your representative in the eyes and let them know you are telling them to speak for you and that you have had enough. It's our time to take back this county out of the hands of the unelected Board of Health. Together, we are more powerful than we know.
We had marching order 1, which was to